Okay, yeah, I'll be the first one to do the pledge. Okay. If I could have your attention, it's 5:30, so we're going to call the meeting to order. Have a few board members on the way or not coming because of, I don't know, hope they don't have the flu, but I think there's some illness going around. So anyway, we're going to start off with the pledge, and I'll do that tonight because that person's not here. If you would, stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our mission statement will be read by Carolyn Walker.
Beaufort County Schools will provide quality educational programs and services to ensure student, academic, and vocational success.
Thank you. You say there's no public comments tonight? Okay, then that'll carry us straight into approval of the agenda. And is there any changes, additions, anything? We're good to go?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have an agenda. And that'll go to board minutes approval, 3.1. And you will see how many is attached. Hopefully you've had a chance to look over those.
Yep. Move approval.
Second.
Okay, do we have everybody here that were at those meetings?
I accused myself for the 7th. I was
7th.
unavailable.
Okay.
I'm going to do the same, but I won't with him that night, okay? Okay.
We weren't going to ask.
Some things you don't need to know.
We know how you running buddies
No.
are. Okay, did I hear a motion yet?
Yes, and a second
And a
by
second,
Ms.
okay. We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. And that carries us into public recognition. And tonight, Michael Bilbro will be handling that for the board. And I believe Ms. Nicole is behind me over here. So we'll turn that over to them.
Good evening. The character trait that was recognized in our schools for the month of February was kindness. The prizes or gifts that were sponsored this month by Frank's Pizza of Washington. The nominees at the elementary level were from Bath Elementary, Addison Davenport; from Chakawinity Middle, Jordan Clark; from Chakawinity Primary, Valerie Ramirez Diaz; from Eastern Elementary, Weston Resendez; from John Cotton Taylor, Lindsay Plato Tuck; from John Small, Zacharian Gibbs; from Northeast Elementary, Tristan Everson; and from S.W. Snowden, Yamilet Osario Rosalino. And the winner at the elementary level was Weston Resendez from Eastern Elementary, if he will come forward. We're going to ask his teacher to come with him.
Hey, buddy, come stand right here. Congratulations. Good job.
Weston is a first grader at Eastern Elementary. His parents are Jamie and Gina Resendez, and he was presented by his teacher, Ms. Roxanne Beeman. And Ms. Beeman wrote, "The word kind can be defined as one who shows care and compassion for others. One young man comes in our classroom every day with a smile and a good morning greeting. Weston Resendez has shown his concern for others and their feelings through several acts of kindness recently. One morning during our morning meeting, one of the children did not have a spot in the circle. Ms. Downing asked if someone could please move over and make room. Weston immediately moved over, spoke up and said, 'He can sit here.' Then one day at lunch, Weston came over to me to express his concern over a girl in our class who was being treated poorly by two other classmates. Weston explained the situation to me and said it just isn't right how they are talking to her. This really touched my heart because when I looked down the table, the little girl had a look of sadness on her face. I asked Weston what he thought he should do, and he said that he was going to tell them to stop picking on her. I watched as he went back to his seat and took up for his classmate. The great thing about Weston is that he recognizes that you should treat others the way that you would like to be treated. He is aware of not only his own feelings, but the feelings of the classmates around him. We are so fortunate to have this young man in our class. Because of his awareness of the feelings of others around him, he makes our classroom a better place. So congratulations to Weston.
Got a bag for you and a certificate, and where's your certificate? And we've got I believe a gift certificate from Frank's Pizza. Okay? And congratulations, kindness is a big one. And I know that most of the students in Miss Beeman's class probably show kindness, don't they? Good. So what you do is go around and shake the board's hand, okay? And then we'll take a picture in the middle.
Congratulations, young fella.
Congratulations, Weston.
I'm not gonna shake your hand, give me one then. All right, wow.
Get them all three together.
At the middle school level, the nominees were from Bath Elementary, Callie Welch; from Chalkawinity Middle, Tyshawn Ebron; from Northeast Elementary, Catherine Mercado Ramirez; from P.S. Jones, Tanasia Teal; and from S.W. Snowden, Chloe Womble. And the winner at the middle school level was Tanasia Teal. She will come forward. Ms. Teal, Tanasia is an 8th grader at P.S. Jones. Her mother's Miss Victoria Teal, if she will stand. And she was presented by her teacher, Miss Indiana Jeanette. If she would like to come forward, I'm not sure if she can. Ms. Jeanette wrote, "Kindness is being considerate, courteous, helpful, and understanding of others, showing care, compassion, friendship, and generosity, and treating others as you would like to be treated." Tanasia Teal exhibits all of these attributes. Due to an injury to my foot, when school got started in August 2016, I was faced with not being able to walk without the assistance of crutches and was confined to getting around by a wheelchair. I didn't know how I would manage my school duties throughout the day. The kindness of our school carried me through. I never could have imagined how many people, adults as well as students, would offer me assistance. I've never doubted the goodness of people because I am in a great school with great students and adults, but it has been a gift to experience all of the support. Many have offered or assisted me with my daily routines. However, Tanasia stands out among all of them. She volunteered daily to push me to get to and from lunch. When entering the cafeteria, she would always ask if she could get something for me. We often would leave the cafeteria a little early in order to get out of the way of other students, and this would allow me time to check my email. I serve as an inclusion teacher, so I'm in and out of my room all day throughout the day. She would always tidy up my room and clean the board. As my health continued to improve, I was not using the wheelchair. Tanasia offered to walk with me, making sure I would be all right. Later on, when once again my health tumbled and I needed the wheelchair, who was at my side? Tanasia. She never complained or said to me, "Can you find someone else?" She truly portrays compassion and generosity beyond measure. We never know from day to day what we will face, and although it has been challenging, she makes my days at school great by helping me push through the tough times. It is my sincere hope that Tanasia is nominated for the Character Education category of kindness. This will let her know how much she has been a blessing to me and will show to others that being kind involves treating others as you would like to be treated. We say congratulations to Tanasia.
Congratulations, here's a certificate, and I can't say anything else. Said it all. And here's a bag and a gift certificate from Prince. Okay, go back and check the routine.
Good job.
At the high school level, the nominees were from the Early College High School, Samantha Ringland; from Northside High School, Cameron Jarvis; from Washington High School, Dawson Elks; and from Southside High School, Kaylee Radcliffe. And the winner at the high school level is from Washington High School, Dawson Elks, if he would come forward. Dawson is an 11th grader at Washington High School. His parents are Robert Elks and Michelle Mayo, and he was presented by Ms. Laura Thompson, his teacher. Is she here? If you will come forward. And Ms. Thompson wrote, "The Washington High School football team is currently having off-season workouts. As part of my own fitness routine, I often run the track at the football stadium. It is because of this that I was able to witness a specific example of Dawson Elk's many random acts of kindness. Toward the end of a particularly grueling workout session, a group of football players were running sprints around the track. For the first couple of times, Dawson easily outran his teammates. The last time the guys were running the track, one of his teammates was visibly discouraged and exhausted. Dawson ran back to join his teammate and encouraged the young man the entire length of the track. I was deeply moved by his act of kindness and display of sportsmanship. Dawson Elks exhibits the definition of kindness on a daily basis." We say congratulations.
Thanks. That's definitely the definition of kindness. There's a certificate for you, and again, a bag and a certificate from Frank's. And you can go by and shake the board's hands.
Congratulations.
Good job, Dawson.
Get all three winners with their certificates back up. We'd like to get a picture with them, please.
There you go.
This time, we'd like to recognize the Clean School Award winners for February 2017, and I'd like to start with the honorable mention, and these are the schools that had scores of 95% or above. P.S. Jones Middle School at 97.9, Ed Tech Center 97.7, Eastern Elementary School 92.2, Bath Elementary 95.5, Chocowindy Primary 95.2, Northside High School 95.2, and Washington High School 95.1. Let's give them a round of applause. We have dual winners this month, and I'd like to ask the custodial staff from Chocowindy Middle School and S.W. Snowden to come forward. Our staff members from Chocowindy Middle School, Antonio Foskey, Serena Gibbs, and Carlton Robertson, and from S.W. Snowden, Clyde Bryant, and Lacey Dixon. And you all have won multiple times. Congratulations.
Okay, wrong one.
I'd like to ask you all to greet the board, and we'll get a picture. Carl, congratulations. Serena, congratulations.
Hey, Ms. Dixon, we appreciate all that hard work. And I know
We're just going to have to start naming the award.
All right, buddy. What's up? You doing all right? Hey,
We'll have to name the award after y'all.
congratulations. He's working on it. He's working.
Good job.
Miracles never cease. Congratulations. Congratulations. That is two clean looking schools out there. It makes a difference.
It must, really must, I guess.
Oh, Lisa Dixon.
Made me proud.
No, I can't talk.
So that's the Oh. Okay. Well, I had another item, but I think we've moved it. So that ends the public recognition, and my guess is that's probably why a lot of you came. So we always pause right now before we enter the business portion. You're welcome to stay, but now's a good time to leave if that's what you came for. And we certainly appreciate all the parents and teachers and staff coming in and supporting these students. Thank you a whole lot for being here. We need to share.
Goodbye, Miss Gina. Have a good day.
Bye.
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 Opened up a little bit. The first time that we're going to get anybody to see.
Miss Gina is one of our teachers in Beaufort County Schools. She's a kindergarten teacher. So that was especially fun for her.
Yep, take care of that, that's for sure.
He's first up. He didn't go too far, did he?
Less than 15 minutes in meeting.
I'll give him just enough time to get down the hall away from out of hearing. Okay, that's it. So we're going to move directly into the action portion of the meeting, and the first item is capital budget update. And I see both of our directors and executive directors here tonight. So Stan, I guess you're up first.
Yes, sir.
I have two capital updates.
Got the capital update with, shows all the projects.
Okay.
16, 17.
16, 17.
Yes, sir, it shows them all and the anticipated completion dates, what we have promised from contractors and.
Okay. I'm not gonna, I mean, we have did we not have a capital meeting next week?
We have one second, that's right.
Yeah, we have a capital budget meeting next week, so I'm not gonna ask you to go through all these items. But is there anything you can tell us, how is it?
No, sir, there's 3 items that's on here for approval tonight that's listed on here slating pending approval. So those are the items that I will be presenting tonight and seeing what y'all's preferences and how we will
They're on, okay, but you have those attached in a second.
in a separate one, yes, sir.
Attachment.
And that attachment is attachment 1 is the Chocowinity Middle School cafeteria.
Go back to it. Is that one that says ceiling quote?
Yes, sir. That's the one we tabled last time pending
Right.
the summer arrangement for our summer feeding program. Dr. Phipps was able to work that out where Eastern will host the feeding program the first
Okay.
2 weeks. And then we have 2 weeks to get the ceiling, plumbing done and get the ceiling in. And I've got all that lined up and I need approval for this,
Well, let me say technically, they're not hosting, they're only serving as a preparation site. There'll be no food eaten at Easter, and then we'll move that operation over to Chocowinity Middle.
But this is the one, we already seen this, but we just didn't take.
correct.
a vote on it,
Y'all
right?
tabled it last time pending us finding out what we could do and make sure we were going to be able to do
You
it.
want- Is the board's pleasure to vote on each one of these individually, or let's just go through all of them? I'll tell you, well, let's just take this one and go ahead. It's, it was the 8,000, we have discussed it before.
Correct.
So what's the board's pleasure on this?
Move approval.
Right, that's what I was looking for.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? You remember we talked about it? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, so let's move on.
My item related to that, and I was going to ask you, that project came in $1,000 under our budgeted amount, but we have some entailing costs as far as moving the burglar alarm, the fire alarm system, horn strobes, the actual sensors, and then purchase of some lighting that needs to be in there. And I was asking, could we, or would you approve the use of the additional $1,000 to cover our cost of that project?
Well, it's under 5.
It's under 5, and
It's part of this project, I think.
That's right, it's part of this project, and it's under 5. You
so I
really don't have to.
proceed. I just want
Any
to make you all aware.
questions? No, I mean, no, that's fine. Just go ahead.
All right. My next one up is the security fencing.
Sideways. It's kind
Yeah,
of
you
like-
have to explain
Well,
this
that's-
a little more because I tried to look through it and there's a bunch of stuff here. I
Well, that's
guess-
just one, that's just the bid tabulation sheet is the actual one that's sideways.
Yeah. I guess the only question I was gonna have on this, because I tried to scan through it
Yes,
as much
sir.
as I could. Are we talking apples to apples all the way through?
Apple to apples all the way through, yes, sir. It's
Okay.
all commercial fencing. It was rewritten, I rewrote it, and we sent it back out for RFP, so it would all be commercial grade fencing, commercial grade post wires and everything. So everybody bid apples for apples this time. And the low bid was Clark and Son Fence Company of $32,792.12. When you look at them individually, they all come in over the previously budgeted amount because we had budgeted using numbers for residential style fencing and not
Right.
commercial fencing, so,
Yeah, that's another item we talked about.
right.
Can you just run through them really, really briefly?
Yes, sir.
As far as I go, unless somebody else has some question. Where are these, okay, Chocowinity Middle School, what are we fencing again, remind me?
It would be starting at the front of the south end of the main building, going out to the EC building with 2 double gates for the EC buses to come in and go around, leaving the far corner of the EC property, going all the way around behind the 500 building and tying back into the existing fence.
So around back where people been able to go.
Yes, sir, they would have to come through the fence in the morning, and then they'll be responsible for closing the gates to secure the campus after 8 a.m. or whatever time their
But I'm
last
saying
bill
at night,
is.
we'd be able now to cut that off.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Then a second fence going from the back of the cafeteria over toward the 200, and then turning behind the dumpsters, tying into the existing football field fence.
Right.
So that would secure that side of the school property.
So
So with it being pod-style buildings, it would give us security during the day.
So those kids that were going from that back, you got them numbered, I call it the back hall. From the back off, they wanted to cut straight across the cafeteria, they'd be behind the
They would be
fence.
exclusively inside of a fence
Okay.
of that campus.
Anybody got a question on that one? I know, at least I know what he's talking about with that one, I know the campus.
Okay,
CPS,
gotcha.
we'd be leaving the library,
And going
be
out
heading
back.
south, and then heading all the way around the property, tying into the fence around the retention pond, using part of that fence, and then leaving, cutting back over to the back of the 400 building with a double gate for the drive, and then 2 walk-through gates to go over the existing walkways.
Right, that's where people, when they come in at night, if they have a gym, I mean, in the.
That's right. It would stop them from being able to go all over the campus, and it was
Right.
to separate our playgrounds from our parking lots.
Is there generally water in that retention pond, or does it stay dry? You know, some retention
It
ponds
is a
never
wet
really
pond,
have
yes,
water.
ma'am. But it is fenced and locked, and,
Okay.
yeah.
When you said it
They
goes.
play around it anyway. Their current
Right,
playground's
but
out there.
When you
so-
said it goes around, I wanted to make sure it goes all the way around.
It
so
does.
that-
It is completely around the retention pond.
Okay.
So, yeah, this takes the back of the school, I call it, and across there where all the traffic comes in, where they unload the car riders at.
And then at EdTech Center, it would be leaving the back of the media center with a double gate for the bus to pull in, and then a walk-through gate, so we can seclude the campus there from our parking in use of the daily things for the media center.
Okay.
And then one around the front side of the media center, around the 100 building tying into the front fence on Bridge Street. So that would seclude those kids from being able to walk off the campus at any time. It definitely puts them inside the fence, and we have more control.
There's an exterior fence already around.
Yes,
it.
but
This
they
just
can
cuts
go
off
out and
the
cut through and get around
Okay. 'Cause
currently,
that's-
so.
that was one I couldn't figure out what we were fencing since we had a fence, but I
It would
got
keep them from cutting around the
Okay.
backside of the media and still walking off campus.
I got it.
And
So-
that's the three projects.
So if I go back and look at this sheet that's sideways, that I'm holding my head sideways and trying to look at, what was the totals? Do you see the totals on there?
32,792.12 was the grand total.
Budget 19.5.
Okay, and that was Clark and Son. which had
Correct.
done work for us before. or
Stan, was
I
this,
think.
and I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to this, was this a line item budget, or was this coming out of safety and security?
It was a separate line item under safety and security.
For
It was
how
out of
much?
the security.
For how much?
Total of 7, 4, 14, 15, the,
Says budget 19.5, but the total cost is 30.
right, that's correct, 19.5.
So where are we getting the extra money from?
We still have it in the security capital, we haven't spent all the money.
Well,
Rest-
it's under security? Okay.
It's still under security, and we haven't obligated spending all that money yet, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
It's still underneath the.
It's still under security for
Right.
that 400,000, it would come out of the security budget, so,
But it's costing more than what we.
more than what we
budgeted.
had allocated for it, yes, ma'am.
Quite a bit more.
All double, exactly.
But in the
Almost to the
same
penny.
case, we had I'm just thinking here, we had one project at CPS that was in the 35,000 that we're now.
That we're gonna do for 1,000, 1,500,
For a
right.
few thousand. And I'm not trying to justify it, but the money's
The
there.
money's
is what
there.
I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and I think if you don't do these,
Plus,
then
we
you
have-
can't secure the properties the way that we've been talking
That's,
about either.
the other point is.
This is another step to securing the
That's
property.
right. What's the board's pleasure on this one?
Move approval.
Second.
Okay.
Do we need to
Sure.
specify move approval and we are aware that it has gone beyond the budgeted amount?
I don't think so.
Because we don't.
No, if it needs to be, it's on the sheet anyway.
Right, okay.
If you,
I just want to
if you
make sure.
catch anything like that that you want in there, speak up during these meetings, because we may move right past one. But
Yeah.
it's on my sheet.
I'm gonna wait for budget, because I'd like to see some of these items broken out in individual rather than lumped up into the security lines. For me, for you all know the pieces, but for me.
Right.
Right.
kind of
Okay, well,
overwhelming.
yeah, let us know if we need to do it a certain way so that it makes
Well,
sense to
I
you.
was gonna say, it's starting at next week's capital meeting, speak up or forever hold your peace. Okay, so I have a motion, and a second. Any last questions about these? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Now, those were all the projects that were on here to be approved, correct?
Correct, yes, sir.
Now, do you have any on that, when I go back to the 16, 17?
But there's one more item that we're asking for approval.
Yeah,
Back
and
up.
I'll recuse myself from that.
Back up, bid sheet for floor replacement, okay?
And this was truly a non-capital line item, but we asked for approval to reallocate the furniture money for the replacing of the carpet in here. And y'all had approved this, and we proceeded out, sent out an RFP, got it back, and it came in as a low bid as Pamlico flooring of $4,341.67. And that's removing the hardwood flooring, taking all the carpet back to concrete, and then reflooring it to get rid of these toe catchers and stumble joints.
And from what I read through, it looks like they're apples to apples.
Yeah, because we
Are they
stacked them,
doing-
same brand carpet, same everything, yes, sir, so they just
And what are we doing here?
carrying everything out you see in here back to concrete, scraping, and then reapplying a Shaw commercial grade carpet.
What's in the closets?
I don't know.
What's in the closets?
Nothing, it's a different flooring, so we're doing to the threshold. There's four thresholds involved.
So we won't be going into
No,
those.
sir, there's no flooring in there.
But what was that fourth bidder gonna do?
The one.
I was thinking the same thing.
Well, the bids were running 45 to 5, and one bid was $11,600, so.
He was
that
gonna carpet
why-
the
that
whole
was all-
building.
I mean, that was why I was asking the question, what did he think we were gonna do versus what everybody else was gonna do?
Maybe he was at Washington County Schools and not Washington North.
Where it's more money, is that what you insinuated?
It's Berber,
Well, no, but I mean,
gold-plated
I just-
Berber.
This was his first time of bidding in Beaufort County Schools, first time I'd ever met him.
Okay.
I don't think he needs to do this.
Move approval.
Second.
Anybody have any, well, we have a motion to second, any last questions?
I'm surprised them two catchers have lasted as long as they have.
This Lisa like to stumble a while ago.
I'm always good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen somebody already fall and break their leg. Anyway, we have a motion and a second, any last questions? If not, all in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed? Okay. Now, that's all you need us to approve tonight.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can we go back just real briefly
Yes, sir.
on the enclosures? How are we coming along on that? And
Bath's completed other than the locks. Northeast is completed other than the locks. Bath, still waiting on it. We have the door ready to put up, but we can't put the door up because of the electronic lock. Russ has obtained POs for get that part of it done today. P.S. Jones is up, wall is up, and John Smaller wall's up. And I give them the go on Snowden's putting theirs up today, put the interior wall up, and south side's proceeding with it. So we had talked with Matt yesterday, and he had said it was okay to entertain replacing the doors with AAA glass. So that's all, that would cover all the ones that we bid out prior to. So all the ones on that, they're still on, I think they're pretty well still on schedule to be completed by mid-March.
just Eastern was on that original group.
Yes, Eastern will be too. Yes, sir, he's going to start on it. I think he had it cut out, didn't you, Russ? You went and took pictures of them today? So they have them in their shop and waiting to put them in the building, so Russ went out and took pictures of the closures.
Can I ask Russ a
Yes, sir,
question?
please.
Well, he's the lock person, not a locksmith. But in the discussion we had at some point in time in the past, I know you were handling the lock side of it. How's that going? I mean, well, you mentioned, I think you mentioned a conversation with, was it, straighten me out, fire marshal, maybe to see if they had to be hooked into our current fire alarm system. I just want to know, in other words, I just want to make sure we put a wall up, we got the right wall, the fire alarms and everything's still operational.
We met with them and we've obtained, Russ and I, but we've got all the paperwork releasing it, and he has some stuff here to share with you too, so.
We've had to get some clarification on some things of how to move forward the security wall enclosures and the doors, controlling the access to that door and the operation of the door. We've had to get clarification from the fire marshal. We got both of those letters this week dated 2/16 from Mr. Curtis Avery for the county, Mr. Mark Yates for the city. What we have here is the controller for the door that comes with the enclosure. Inside of here, we have the brains. This is what comes with the security wall. From this point forward, we have to figure out how to control this. So that's what we're in the process of doing. That's why we do not have doors up yet. Because when the door goes up, without any power to it or being able to control it, it's locked.
It'll be locked all the time.
So we're doing this as a side-by-side basis.
Okay. Do you have an idea how long that's going to take to get the doors up? I mean, because it's going to be great to have the walls up, but I don't guess it's going to do us a lot of good if we don't have a door on it.
There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
We have reached out to a local company in town.
Okay.
They are helping us with all the controls and making this work and making it functional. We have to coordinate with AAA Glass and have them on site to put the door up at the same time we hook power to it.
But the companies, they already have the A phone in their business, so they're very familiar with what they're doing, and is actually, that's the way Russ got in to talk with them, so he actually got to use it hands-on.
Okay, so am I going to be able to stick to this March 17th? We're going to have walls up, or we're going to have walls at work?
I'm not going to put a date on it.
Okay.
That's what I told you.
Well, I'm not putting a date on it. So.
I don't blame you.
That's right.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, well, if you're having to do them simultaneously with them, I guess there's a whole lot of coordinating.
Can you have a date by the 2nd of March?
Yes, because today, the purchase order was issued for just northeast and back. So it's one of those things, if they were completed a week and a half ago, and it's taken me a week to get everything organized, the price is drawn up, a PO to be issued, it's moving we've sent them out to PS Jones and John Small, they're identical setups, but with no doors installed, I've had to go to the store site, AAA Glass, take pictures of the door, send it over to them, and show them how it's going to be wired up, what the design is, and then we move forward with how to control the door.
Any questions?
I have a question, Mr. Chairman, but not concerning this. I just wanted to ask Stan and Russ, I was at, and maybe I'm missing something, but I was at PS Jones the other day. The doors that you guys have, that they're going in, they're beyond the office, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, I was speaking to the people in the office, that there's also a space there, like cut out like that, wherein that there is room to get before you get into before you get through those doors. So those am I looking at it right by just looking at it and seeing that that office will not be beyond those security doors? It's going to be on the outside of the security doors?
Yes, ma'am, the office is.
The office is. Okay, the receptionist was saying to me that it was just really, she thought that it was not enough security because there are so many children that come into that office, and if something, just suppose something happened, then they wouldn't have no means of protecting those children that's in that office, nor them. So
And there's an A phone at each door.
Huh?
There's an A phone at the door keeping the person in the lobby,
Okay.
in the airlock. They will not
Okay.
be able to get into the office until the office personnel grants them access
Okay, well,
in there.
maybe she doesn't understand.
Yeah, that's what Russ, that's
Yeah.
his Russ side of it he's
Yeah,
working on.
Maybe she doesn't understand.
Y'all added that last time. It was not in the original one, but we just, as we went through it in our discussion mode, it was added in. So we've been back to add those.
Can I request that our principals and assistant principals, and I'm even going to go so far as to say the receptionist, because usually the buck stops with the receptionist at each school anyway. Usually he or she is the one that's going to be buzzing people in and out. I want to make sure, and I asked this question last week, and I was told it meant, but I would like for you to just humor me and make sure that they understand what is going to happen at their schools. I just
It
want to
hasn't
make
been
sure.
taken up to the principal. All the principals have been involved in a meeting outside in the hall, and it's been discussed. They haven't passed it along, so if it's y'all's
Well, if you
request, I'll go and require
Well,
it.
if you have the diagram, I just think it might be a good idea, instead of waving hands and pointing,
Yeah.
if they see what we saw last week, if the principals can share that with their assistant principals and their receptionists so that they understand what this is about. If I were the receptionist, I would want to know what you were going to do to my school and what your expectation was of me, because we are adding a step to what they already do. So I just want to make sure, not that they're going to be calling the shots on whether or not we do it, but I just think they should be included in the.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Follow me, Russ? Do you understand what I was
Because
saying and
she
what I was
probably
asking?
doesn't know.
Yeah. And she stopped me when I was on my way out the door and was asking me these questions, and I was like,
Well, it's a good question if you're doing all this stuff for the kids. I mean, the staff that are there on the quote-unquote front line coming in, I mean, they want to be protected just like the students, and I totally agree with that.
And we are, and I think maybe had they seen this, what we saw last week, they probably wouldn't have even had that question.
Yes, right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We
And,
will take them around.
Thank you.
yeah, I was gonna say, but to be clear, what I hear her saying is this is just an FYI. We're not asking for
Right.
them
We
to
will
come
take them
in,
drawing
to weigh in on if the
Right.
door's gonna be
Right.
locked
Will
or
be
not,
done.
because we've already made that decision.
Correct.
Okay,
No problem. We would make it
Yeah,
happen
I'm-
tomorrow.
okay.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week, and we'll ask you some more questions. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
textbooks. That's you, Don.
We've got this as an action item, and the textbook for college classes is something we talked about several years ago when we had students beginning to take the dual credit classes with the community college, and we had some other colleges and university programs where students were taking classes. At that time, the board said they wanted to continue to fund that for students. The issue that we've got, and I just want to share some information with you, as this is proliferating, we've had more and more students that get involved. Last year, our bill was a little bit over $40,000 for textbooks for students taking courses. But prior to that, for 3 years, the New Schools project that we had been in partnership with were paying the cost of the textbooks. And they went out of business and ceased operations in May of 2016, unexpected by anyone. Nobody had any idea that was going on. And because we had done the registration packets already, we have to do that well in advance because we had done that. Students had taken the classes, had enrolled for the classes with the understanding that textbooks would be covered. We opted to do that again this year. We felt obligated to take care of the students who were doing that. Moving forward, we need to make sure that everyone's on the same page. We don't have New Schools Project money anymore to do this. We're looking at some options to try to mitigate as much of the cost as we can. Right now, the bill for textbooks is $37,000 for the fall. We haven't received anything for the spring. Spring generally is not as high. We've been trying to warehouse books as much as we can at the schools for them being checked in and checked out. One of the problems that we have is that the books are new adoptions are taken frequently, so we're not able to use the same book year after year like we do in the schools, and that's up to the college in terms of what they do, and we've asked them to help with us on that part. We've also stopped paying for personal items for classes like cosmetology and the welding classes and things like that. But some of those kits can run $600 or $700, and we've just not been able to afford to do that. We've got more students than ever taking the courses. I know from a personal standpoint as a parent, the benefit of having those college classes that students can earn while they're students is helpful. I'm fearful that if we don't cover the cost of textbooks, there are going to be students who would greatly benefit from a program like this that aren't going to be able to afford to participate because they can't afford the cost of the textbooks. But what we're asking for tonight is direction from you all as we start to build our local budget. We need to find an item for this. We had to deal with it last year because it ended up in our lap and we weren't expecting it. But we've got time now to be proactive as we build the budget. And the number probably will be somewhere between $50,000 and $60,000 unless we can find a cheaper solution or some other alternatives that we can come up with. But I wanted you to be aware of that. And I wanted to note that early college uses learn and earn money that they have, which is a separate line item that they're able to draw down to pay for their textbooks. So we're talking for non-early college students and the college courses that they're taking.
Right. So you're just asking us just to put a stamp of approval on putting it in a budget when we start working on it.
And we need to know, the other thing I'm going to mention in my update, there's going to be a Career and College Promise program on the 20. I'll get the date for you. It's next week, but one of the elements of that would be to let parents know whether or not we're planning on providing textbooks, and we have not had that discussion, so I didn't want to commit to that until we talked with you all about it. And we may say that we'll go up to a certain limit, but my fear, again, is that a student who can't afford it, I don't want to deny them that opportunity.
You need to, well, my opinion is work it in the budget and just, we'll go from there. We don't need to leave it out.
Would that fall just in the general budget?
It would probably hit local, yes, ma'am.
Hit local?
But you're
We're
talking
current
about moving
expense.
forward.
Yeah. Well, we got to pay this year, too.
Right, but what's
moving forward. We could. I don't want to take it out of textbook money because that takes away from the school allotment that we have in distribution. So we're talking about a separate fund line item that we take care of the funding with.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that, but what's the board's pleasure?
What are you asking for exactly? Just the $37,000 for the fall?
Well, I'm asking moving forward for next year, are we going to cover the cost of textbooks for students taking college courses?
Yeah.
And we need to know that now because we did pre-registration. and all the other
I
work.
make a motion we do.
Yeah, I just have one question on that, because I'm for it as well. But is there any concern, or has this even come up, if you pay this and a student fails that course and then reapplies to take it again? I mean, how often would we be committed to continue paying for it? Has that ever been a problem? Not really.
We don't pay for the courses.
Well, I meant paying for
The same book we would
just have them reissue it.
There
Okay.
wouldn't be another cost.
And I asked Ashley to put some numbers together just so you have some idea of the number of college courses taken. And I don't know if these are all BCC classes or not.
Not the last 2 years, but this year they're all BCC. The last year they're the 3 schools
So
in BCC.
we had 592 classes in 14-15. We had 719 that were taken in 15-16. And then for the fall, just for the community college, we had 262. In the spring right now, we've got 278. So it helps the community college out with FTE. I mean, it's beneficial. It certainly helps the families of the students. There's no question about that.
Now, the courses like cosmetology and welding, do they have a textbook? They do. So we would be buying the books, but we would not be buying the additional supplies. They would have to pay for that themselves,
Some of
right?
the kits are really expensive.
I think he's talking about us paying for the kits.
No,
No?
he's talking about
No,
just kits are really expensive.
Who pays for those?
The students have,
If
but
they
they're
want
not
to be a-
very consumable, so
Yeah.
it's $600 to my best knowledge for the cosmetology, it's about $250 for the nail.
We just did books because we use them.
But that's theirs. For you.
Well, they use it up anyway
That would,
in the
Right.
course.
but the books, we will still be buying the books. They'll have to buy the additional supplies.
That's right.
Okay.
If they want to be a cosmet, you know.
I thought that was what I was
that's
understanding.
their problem.
Okay.
Okay. So this is just for the books. Okay, so did I
Yeah,
hear the
motion.
motion earlier? And I think I had a second. Did you get it, Lisa? Any last questions? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed to this? Okay.
We'll come back to you with details as we build the budget.
Let's look at field trips right quick.
We have one field trip on the attachments, 9932 with Washington High School on the 22nd of March through the 25th. Overnight, it's a FBLA state competition in Greensboro. They'll be taking a bus, and they have the appropriate number of adults going with students. So I'd like to seek your approval for
Just a
that.
straightforward
Move
field trip.
Second.
Got a motion to second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed to letting them go on a field trip? No. Okay, back to this policy. We've looked at it, now we've got to take a vote on
It's
it.
been on the table. We've shared it with our principals. We've asked for feedback. Any feedback that we've gotten was provided in that original revision, and I think folks are satisfied. The fact that I've not heard comments makes me assume that they're satisfied. But we struck item number 12, and we added item 12, 13, and 14. And what it does is it gives the ability for the principal to have some leeway in terms of making a determination of what the punishment ought to be appropriate given the nature of the misconduct.
Did we spend a lot of time on this?
Did we
Have
spend-
I mean, did outside of the board, did we spend a lot of time on this
I
issue?
did. I don't know if you, I don't know
Okay.
what you all individually spent on it.
No, I'm really not saying for myself, it's just, to spend a lot of time on something like this, to me, is,
I know where you're headed.
Well, and my goal
be
is.
frustrating if I was
Yeah.
the one dealing with it from
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to tighten up any area that you feel like there's a loophole or there's ambiguity in the policy, and this provided some leeway for principals again, but I think it spells out pretty clearly what the expectation is and then what the discipline would be if it needs to be administered.
Well, we expect the principals to be leaders of their schools, so they should have some type of, I tend to agree with that.
Yeah, there's just a lot of emphasis when you put between will and may. That's right. Or shall, I believe we used it, shall, right?
So you're making a
Shall
motion?
and may. So anyway, this makes sense to
Cleans
me.
it up a lot, I think.
If they're happy with that, I'm happy with the way it reads.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion and second, any last questions? Right
This policy will be explained to all participants. They'll be riding the bus,
It
right?
will be a part of the athletic handbook, and they already do that in terms of the students when they have their meeting with parents. It's not only to the athlete, but to the parents as well.
Okay, I understand.
They need to
Because
stand-
I don't want us to pass a policy and then someone come back, we didn't know anything about it. We've heard that before.
You almost need to, when they fill the bus up, stand at the front of the bus and say, do not throw anything in this bus or out of this bus.
Okay, as long as everybody knows where we're coming from.
I know the school today took 2 busloads of elementary kids to Raleigh. I mean, if somebody doesn't tell them, 3rd grader, they might throw some things around. They're 3rd graders, folks, you know? They're kids.
I have a 3rd grader.
So you know exactly what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, so, okay.
Okay. I'm
So,
fine.
that's the last question. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you very much. But you're right, Matt, they need to be told.
They need to be told.
They need to be told.
Over and over.
that will carry us to closed session, hopefully.
I move that we go into closed session pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A1 to prevent disclosure of confidential personnel files under General Statute 115C-321.
Okay, here's a second. Got a motion and a second to go into closed session. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We're in closed session. Okay, we're back in open session, and the first item is to approve the personnel agenda that was just discussed.
So move. Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have that approved. Calendar for March, and
The dates,
I don't think it's changed.
yeah, the first one reflects the budget session that will be capital, and hopefully some local current expense will be on the 2nd of March at 5:30. Then you have the March board work session on the 7th, and the board meeting on the 21st. And then the special call board meeting on the 29th at 2 o'clock is for the advanced data accreditation folks to do their exit conference.
Is that the same, that's the same dates that we have?
Those have not changed.
Right. The only question I had was March the 7th at 5:30. We generally have the first
Oh,
meeting
yeah,
at
it should be 5, I'm sorry.
Did we change that for a
No.
reason?
I'll fix it.
So March the 7th is at 5 o'clock?
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
fix that.
that's what I thought we normally.
Lisa, you just want to keep us late?
Yeah.
Okay, so, let me skip next real quick.
We're looking at that and say-
Board member updates. We're not going to discuss it now, but when you pull that up, you're going to see 2 attachments, and it's going to give you enrollment numbers, what our current enrollment numbers are at all of our schools, and then you're going to see early college, high school enrollment numbers. And we are going to have a discussion at the next meeting. We have another board member that wants to discuss that, but couldn't be here tonight, so we'll discuss where we're going to go with enrollment, not necessarily that way, but I really need to do it at the next meeting for a few minutes because they're in the recruitment period already. But we just need to take a look at what we're going to not do. I'm not saying we're changing anything, but we just want to talk about
So we're
enrollment
just gonna apply this to
coming out of our
to-
high schools going into
We're just
the.
gonna apply this to the next agenda, on the next meeting?
Yes, but there's your files if you want to be looking at them between now and then. Okay? Any other board member updates?
I want to, at the last meeting, I wish good luck to the Washington High School swim team.
Yes.
And if everybody has seen in the newspaper or on TV, they went on and won the state championship, so 2nd year in a row.
Need to get him here.
Yep.
Yes.
We'll bring them back in again. Superintendent updates.
Accreditation visit last week in the month of March. You all have heard me talking about that. We've got a lot of work going on. Flu and other illnesses being dealt with. We have a larger than normal number. We made a phone call last night, went out to all the families, and just for the folks that are watching, just encourage you to keep your students home if they're throwing up, have diarrhea, or a fever over 100 degrees. Also, if they're excessively tired or have muscle aches. And then remind students to cover their mouth when coughing or sneezing and avoid contact with their face. Wash hands frequently. But especially children should not return to school unless they're fever-free for 24 hours without medication. And then finally, I mentioned this earlier in the meeting, the community college is going to be hosting the Career and College Promise Night. It is February the 27th, and it'll be at 6 p.m. in the campus auditorium in Building 8. Again, on the 27th of February, 6 p.m., the campus auditorium, Building 8, and they're targeting 9th, 10th, and 11th grade students. And if anybody wants more information, they can contact their student school or can contact us, and we'll make sure we provide that.
Okay. So our next back together meeting will be next Thursday the 2nd.
That's right.
Lisa, you still want us here at 5 for pictures? The meeting starts at 5:30.
Yes.
Okay.
If everybody can be here.
Well, you just have to let everybody answer for themselves. But I guess at 5 o'clock, we're going to have some form of a picture.
What
taken.
kind of address are we
Yeah, what do you want
asking
us
for
to
this picture?
Coat and tie,
Swim trunks.
professional. Be your individual shots and a group shot.
What do you do?
Said swim trunks.
Ain't no
So
way.
we're doing beach theme this year.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else to say? If not,
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're out.
I'm going to see Terry.
Yeah, I'm